assemble the pieces left of me.
Hi guys, I know you like the little blog videos that I used to do when I was at work and why we don't like certain things. So why I why I tidy up the mess I've made doing this, and those that wonder what I've done is I've put our CB radio back in this bus rather than 7176 and nicked the stereo out of 7176 as well. And it looks pretty f***ing mint in here. I'll show you at the end where it is. It's literally just there, and the two speakers are hidden below the dashboard. Pretty good mint. Once I've tidied up, I'm then going to start work on the back lights because two of them are out. But anyway, so I'll tidy up here. Try and tidy up here. It's a bit difficult. I'm trying to not make sure I'm not going to push any wires out. Put these in. Because I haven't actually made sure that all this still fits back in. Once get that lot fitting. So I'll put the dashboard back in and that little bits and bobs. I have to keep this door here closed. The leaky cupboard is open underneath. So what shall I do this topic on, eh? What shall I do this topic on? Well, there's always plenty I can do it on. So I know you've liked the becoming a bus driver blog, which I then got rid of because it was in uniform on the stage going yeah on a company bus and they didn't like it. Well, they weren't that bad actually about that one, but they weren't the best impressed, full stop really, with the whole situation. So, sod 'em. So, you can't really argue with this, me doing this one, because I'm not in company, so it's fine. In my own company instead. Yeah, I'm not bothered. So, we get, on the buses we get all sorts of passengers. Some of them we want on the bus, some of them we'd rather they didn't get on the bus, if we're honest. There's lots of examples of different ones that would rather they didn't get on the bus. You've got like the homeless. Some of them are alright, some of them will just travel from point A to point B and not be bothered to think about being bothered by you.
Jordan, are you alright if I f*** off now?
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, alright mate.
Alright.
Thanks for your help.
No problem. See you later, Jim.
Alright mate.
Well, that makes it easy. I'm waiting for Ian then. So we can put his coach just over there, in that spot there, and that one just over. So, yeah, so we get loads of people on the bus. Some, like I say, some of them would rather we didn't go on the bus. Other of them, they come on the bus and we're a bit powerless to stop them really, which is a bit annoying at times, but it happens. It happens. Now, you may ask, why don't we want stuff like the homeless on and stuff like that? Well, the main reason is the homeless tend to soil the clothing. Well, not on purpose, but you know, it's they tend to make a mess inside, and they tend to smell, and it's not nice. Go. Sorted. So, I'll put all the tools back now. And sweep in there because it looks horrible. So, yeah. But as I say, the main one that got hit was becoming a bus driver, and why become a bus driver, why did I become a bus driver, and you know, that sort of stuff. And the post disappeared because, well, they didn't like it, so I was using their company time to do it. So what I can do now is actually go through it. And I became a bus driver mainly because I just wanted a bigger wage, basically. Those that follow me on Facebook properly, as in myself, those that are the actual friends, will know that I do post my coach days quite a bit, and I do miss them. It is something I actually miss doing, my coaching. Mainly because every day was different, and that's the big step about it. Every day is different. And now, being a service bus driver, there's like 3 types of driver. There's a service bus driver, school bus driver, coach driver. And there's 3 sort of categories that everyone gets launched into. So I'm classed now as a service bus driver. Even when I did National Express, I was still a coach driver. I did intercity travel. Now I'm just a normal service bus driver that does point A to point B in the city. And if you can do work and drive in the same area every single day, then service bus driving, not a problem. Great little project to do. Fun to do. And I don't really know, I don't have fun. I have fun, but you know, you don't get away with as much, you know, on the coaches, especially on private hire. You could have a lot more banter with the clients, and obviously the clients on there, they're not just a passenger. No. The passengers, when a passenger really gets on a bus, right, and they go, how was your day? They don't give a fuck. They don't care. All they want to do is get on the bus, pay the fare, and go sit down. That is it. No one's interested. Although what I have noticed is, when I did a Metrolink replacement. It's on video actually. I did a Metrolink replacement. Where's all these blue? Oh yeah. Metrolink replacement. And I did that, and I was a contract worker then for Selwyn's. Because I was doing Stagecoach. It was a contract for Stagecoach. And normally, no one wants to talk to you. Normally. Especially as a service bus driver, no one wants to talk to you. Normally because of the way society is these days, which is crap. Because they have to put a big perspex screen between you. And that big perspex screen takes away a lot of the time that want to talk to someone and want to talk to them. So when I did Metrolink, loads of people would talk to you, you know, and okay, I didn't have many answers for them because as Metrolink we never told anything. Especially being an outside contractor, I knew even less than normal. I just knew the route. In fact, I didn't really know the route either because they hadn't told us they were missing out stations. I wonder what that high-pitched squealing noise is. Yeah, so, but, you know, people would talk to you a lot more and be a lot more friendly to you because you weren't behind the perspex. You didn't have to shout to them and they didn't have to shout to you. soon as you put that perspex in place, you know, people have to shout at you for you to hear them, and you have to shout at them for them to hear you. So it makes it a bit crap really, because you don't have that interaction again on the coaches, even on National Express, because you're not in that cage. You are open to them. You know. Okay, National Express, we had music on, and you weren't supposed to have music on, but we had music on. You know, that's another thing that chilled people out, especially when they did Metrolink. Metrolink is one of them. None of them people on that bus want to be on that bus, because the tram takes half the time as the bus. But I had like Key 103 on, or whatever it is now, Fixed Radio, and people were a bit more, they were calm, they were polite, you know. I had my Tannoy system, so I could shout out the station names as you're supposed to, which is another thing on Metrolink. You're supposed to shout out as you go along the road, you know, the next stop is Deansgate, Castlefield. Yeah, the next stop's Cornbrook. But they can't hear you because you're in a perspex box. So that puts people's backs up. But if you want to progress in a career, then definitely look at doing bus driving. But then also think, after that point, what do you also want? Because you can do service bus driving for a big company, or you can do service bus driving for a small company. With a small company, you're more than likely to get away with more crap. A big company, you never get away with anything. Can't even get away with farting in a big company. But it isn't. It's something I'd recommend. I mean, I still have to be careful what I say and how I word this, but becoming a bus driver, I'd recommend it, but you need to think about what you want. Do you want a big company that's going to watch you? You know, you've got CCTV watching you all the time, passengers report you, and you get pulled in the office. You step 1 foot out of line and you get a warning. Or do you want a small time independent where you don't get paid as much, but life's a lot easier? I know several drivers at different places, and they love their work because they're not hounded. You know, I'm not saying that employer hounds or anything like that. You know, I can't mention, we all know who I'm employed by, but I can't mention it. But like a lot of the small independents, they won't have radios and stuff like that. It's, you know, if you've got a problem, you ring them, and that's how it's dealt with. You know. So, bus driving, I recommend it. The other thing that you've got to think about is shifts. And I'm on a late roster again now. When I came back I wasn't. When I went back I wasn't on a late roster. But I had to get on one because it was driving me up the wall. Absolutely up the wall. I'll move you just a bit further back. Yeah, it was driving me up the bloody wall. The shifts. You know, if you maybe with you, if you're with a small time independent, I know a lot of the small time independents, you tend to do the same routes every day. Like they tend to try and like dedicate a driver, rather than, you know, I keep swapping driving. So you get to know the locals again. It's different from a big company where you don't get to do that, because knowing the locals as well, they tend to open up to you, and it's someone, especially the old people, sometimes for them it's just someone to talk to. And yeah, sometimes it can be annoying, but other times it can be nice. And I'm not going to step on this once I pull this out, because there's not much left of it. But I need just move this to the side. I need it out to shoot that floor. But this is a big metal panel, so this is solid. This floor here isn't on this bus. I'm in the process of fixing it. But I need some bigger steel to do it. So, I'm in the process of doing that. But yeah, you get to know like the little locals, and for the old people sometimes it's just someone to talk to, which sometimes is all they need. They just need someone to talk to sometimes. You know, a lot of them might not have someone at home or something like that, and having someone to talk to is for them a great relief. For you, it might be an annoyance because you don't want to know about next door's cat. But, you know, it can be helpful. Right, well, I'm going to stick it up on blocks again, I think, because Jonathan is working tomorrow. So, I might as well, before I go today, as well as fix the rear lights. There's a hole in the metal there, just underneath here. So I can probably bang that out, grind it off, bang it out, and weld fill it, grind it down, and then that's that one done. And then I can cut out the other two bits as well. So we'll start it up. I do like my little dart now. I'll say my little dart, it's more, it's bought as Callum's, but you see they'll do, it's a bit, yeah, it's a bit naked. I mean it's solid enough, but it's just a bit, need some new brackets and stuff like that. Why I wait, because I don't need to wait, it's an instant start, it just starts, it's great. So, yeah, might become a bus driver, then go for it, just obviously one, then it might not be what you want, and if it's not what you want, then you want to go looking at maybe a different company. So, and I've not really said much use there, but you know, still got to be careful what I say. And this is off the fly, the video that's there. Apparently I've got air pressure. I can tell you for a fact, right, if I release that handbrake, I bet the bubble comes back down. There isn't air pressure there at all. Because suspension hasn't gone up and the doors haven't got pressure. Doesn't need revenue, it will build itself up. But anyway, topics. I'm going to start doing this now again. So if you've got any topics you'd like covering in detail, do pop them down in this description or email admin@Mancbuses with topic ideas as the subject, and we will incorporate them into our videos of actual doing the work on the buses, and then you'll also have why we work, we'll explain what we're doing, and we'll explain about the buses. I'm bus driver, Sean's a bus driver, Callum's a bus passenger, so you can have it from as many sides as you want. So, thank you so much, please do comment, like and subscribe.
The drive wheels digging, this rock and roll rig is a side pipe singing on the radiator mile. The fan belt is screaming and the barn roaring out for ride. Well, you will hear it coming as she is piped with chrome, go cruising through the tunnels and rolling into
enough.
That's what she